Good evening, everybody, and welcome to another edition of 108 Baseball Talk. My name is Scott Morgan, North Motor City Madmouth. Pleased to be joined by my dream team. Eric Katz is off for the night, but that's okay. We have depth on this program. And with that said, my Uncle Barry slash brother, because he actually has to wear two titles, Barry Foot joins us. Welcome back, Barry.
Yeah.
And I have an uncle in the baseball business, Warren Brewster. Okay, so for those of you out there that remember the old saying, Joshua Door back in Metro Detroit, I got Uncle Warren on here tonight.
Thank you, Scott.
Glad you're safe out in Hawaii with all that
Yeah, right.
business that
A lot of
Sandy
rain.
was talking about. Yeah, all that
Mhm.
rain. And we got Tony of Bessemer City. Okay, Lewis, I'm so waiting for you to put Bessemer City in the middle of your name, Tony, because I'm not going to let you off the hook for throwing that one at me. So just remember that. You'll get a race sooner or later. All right, Trent Clark's on as well. Glad to have Trent back on. And last but not least, Candy, the biggest factual person on the planet. Does awesome stuff producing and facts as well. All right, well, with that said, let's get going here. Busy agenda. And Cleveland Guardian Travis Bazana, the number one overall pick and number 17 overall prospect, represented Team Australia in the WBC, has made history as the first Australian taken first overall in the MLB draft. So this is the 2 point part question. He will start the season though in AAA with the Columbus Clippers. So with that said, to be in AAA, but good experience so Barry with him having an opportunity for him to play with Team Australia in the World Baseball Classic, a guy you're going to be hearing a lot more of, Bear.
Oh yeah, I think that's a great experience. That's a experience a lot of times you don't get until you're 3 or 4 years into your career, and maybe never. So that's a great experience for him. I was looking at his numbers. He's the interesting things is strikeouts and base on ball ratios are very good, which is often a good precursor of whether you're going to be able to hit in the big leagues or not. So yeah, he looks like a good prospect.
Uncle Warren?
Well, that's huge. Anytime you balls to strikeouts or better, that is, he's got a good eye. He's not over swinging or anything like that and chasing pitches. He set all the Oregon State home run record, hits records, RBIs. He's a top college prospect when he came out of college and also the number one pick. So he's got a bright future ahead without question. The only thing that slowed him down a little bit is he did have an oblique in his left side last year, and he missed a couple months. Otherwise, he'd probably be in the big leagues this year.
Well, those type of guys that I've seen through the year. You guys know they've been in this game forever. Put him out there in AAA, and then 2-3 weeks later, guess what? He's in the big. So
Right.
guys like him that are superior prospects, to me, end up in there within the first 30 days that I've seen. But let him start in AAA to get all that worked out. Like you said, Uncle Warren. All right, Tony.
I think Cleveland are putting him on track to. If you start you off in AAA, they're looking to fast track you. If he does what they hope he can do and can piggyback off of being in the World Baseball Classic, I think very well. By Mother's Day, that's probably the hope for the Cleveland Guardians if they got him in AAA already.
Trent?
Yeah, good route to the majors, right? Goes to play in the Pac-10 in Oregon State. It's probably a great spot for a kid to come in and learn a little bit of more U.S. baseball. We had a kid back in the day with the Angels named Trent Durrington, great Australian player. And, Trent made it up to the major leagues, a lot of time in AAA, great athlete. Probably didn't have those kind of reps that we got as kids as a baseball player, especially with the competition we got over here. And I think that hurt. I think that hurt his long-term career. So for a kid to come over and go to a big university like that and get all the reps there and then kind of mix right in a first-round draft choice, obviously, no doubt he's a player. So nice career at Oregon State. And now it looks like that, I think, to what the guy said, like, no better place to play in the World Baseball Classic this is the deal. Like, look at the U.S. lineup. You'll never play a lineup like that again. It's so such a good experience to get that and find out where you fit in.
All right, go to the chat room real quick. We have Ronnie on. Welcome into the show, Fox Boy. Well, guess what? We're going to put you in there. And then, of course, I don't know about the other ones, but anyways, we got some people in the chat room want to acknowledge every one of them. It's a baseball show in case you want to know about that. Katie, you have the last word on it other than the fact that I just think actually, as far as I'm concerned, this guy ain't going to be in AAA long, but the exposure of the World Baseball Classic has been nothing short of priceless. Go ahead, Candy.
Well, in high school, he actually played cricket, and he was the captain of his team, and they won the first ever New South Wales state championship. Then he played for the Sydney Blue Sox in the Australian Baseball League from 2018 to 2021. Then he went to Oregon State. In 2024, he led the Pac 12 conference in batting average, on base percentage, slugging percentage, home runs, walks, and runs. His 26 home runs was a single season school record, and he also broke the school's career home run record that year. He was named the Pac 12 Player of the Year. So kudos to him. He's done really well. Hitting a home run in the World Baseball Classic, no better way to start, really, right? Now let's fast track him into the majors.
So now we have White Sox and Chicago White Sox. We got Boston Red Sox. Now we have the Sydney Blue Sox. I like all these colors of Sox that end up all over the world. All right, with that said, Rocco Baldelli has been hired by the Dodgers as a special assistant to the GM. Very good hire for the Dodgers.
Yeah, I think he's a good baseball guy. I always appreciated his enthusiasm on the field, and I think he's got a good baseball mind. I've watched him manage a little bit, but yeah, I think it's a good hire, and it's a great place for anybody to work. You're going to be around a team that's going to, if they don't win, it won't be because they aren't trying to win.
Okay, Warren.
Well, I definitely think that's a lot better place than Minnesota. Nothing against the Twins, but they didn't exactly give him the players the last couple of years to be successful. They cut back salaries and reduced salaries, and so he didn't have a lot to work with. So he's kind of the scapegoat because he's a great baseball guy. I mean, there's no question. He's been around the game for 20, 25 years. And he's all of a sudden get stupid. He's a good baseball guy, and the Dodgers went out, and that proves that the Dodgers wanted him and hired him.
Well, he's going to get away to ring and go to LA. All right, Tony.
Right. Yeah, I think this is a good deal. He's clearly a baseball guy on the field. Him going up into the office, to be a special assistant, he can figure out how that works, which might make him even a better baseball guy on the field, just learning all the intricacies of the business. I wonder how much he'll be doing there. Not a lot of scouting needed. Just blank checks being handed out. Just get your pick up the letter for players. So it's easy if you're trying to be a GM somewhere like that, right? It's like, let's just get the best of the best. Hey, it's good. You can add a former manager who's still close to the game. He hasn't been gone that long. Obviously, he just got fired. Yeah. That's good for them.
Right.
Yeah. I think the history with Andrew Friedman, where he had, back in their time with Tampa, probably played a role here. I would also wonder out loud, is Baldelli being maybe tapped on the shoulder as a successor for their manager? He won't manage forever. So I wonder about that.
You know what? That's your point of the night.
Mm-hmm.
In fact, when you plug in Andrew Friedman, you see the connection. Awesome. Bingo. Clarkie hit this one out of the park. All right, Candy. And we have some interesting comments in the chat room. Ronnie, let me give you some good advice, buddy. If you know anything about the game of baseball, Don Mattingly will be on shortly. So I want to stick around, and all you folks that are in there, Don Mattingly is as good as it gets. So hang in there, guys. Go ahead, Katie.
In 2000, Baldelli is 44 years old, and in 2005, he was derailed by channelopathy, a rare metabolic muscular disorder, which caused frequent soft tissue injuries and severe fatigue. So that's why he didn't have a long playing career. That's why he makes a good transitioning into manager and coach, and now special to the GM, so that he has good insights, because he can also talk about having injuries and what that's like, and how to recover and stuff like that. So I like that move, even though I'm not a fan of the Dodgers.
Well, I can hardly tell. Well, of course, anything that gets in the way of your Milwaukee Brewers, what do you expect? But Katie at least was able to smile a little bit when Don Mattingly had some good things to say about the Milwaukee Brewers. Little teaser, we have a couple of nuggets and put in about Donnie shortly. All right, Jaron Duran also got some pretty good exposure as well because he played for Team Mexico in the WBC as well. Back to you, Barry. What are your thoughts about Jaron Duran?
He's a good player. He has a lot of tools. He's got good speed. He's got a All-Star MVP under his belt. He's got played with Mexico in the WBC. I like him. I think that there's some people scared of him because he's had some anxiety things. He's had some issues. I think that scares off some people. I believe they're shopping him because they got 3 young outfielders. But I like him. I think he's a good player, and he's been able to battle through some personal issues, and that usually bodes well for you if you could do that. But I do like him as a player.
Yeah, I think he's a heck of a player too. Anytime, once again, I'll reiterate what I said about the last guy. You get a guy in the World Baseball Classic, and he's able to get this kind of experience. Then that says you a lot about what kind of a player is to be able to compete against the best players of the world. Okay, Uncle Warren.
Well, without question, he's a good player. There's no doubt about that. He just needs a chance to go out and play every day, and hopefully he gets that. He gets that this year, and he'll, cream rises to the top. He's got a lot of tools.
Tony?
Man, one of the AL East stars of the WBC. It seemed like the AL East shined throughout this whole WBC, throughout the different teams, and he was one of them. As the Yankees fan, I hope they're shopping him. Get him up out of Boston, please. But I did hear maybe Kansas City, that'd be great for them to add to their youth and talent. But good player, shows power. Like I said, as a Yankees fan, get him up out of there.
Yeah, I like this. I like this rule, right? I like that one of your parents and you're going to go play for that country, and I think that's a pretty neat deal. Duran probably, I don't think he was overlooked for the U.S. team, but you'd love to be on that team. He's been an all-star, so he's watching a lot of the best players play, and he brought it when he played the USA, kind of letting them know maybe you made a mistake. He hit 2 home runs against the USA, and so he got the best pitching in the USA, and he proved that, hey man, I can hold my own. So I think he kind of sent a statement there. So. And I think, to reiterate what everybody said here, is like, why wouldn't you go play in the WBCA if you had the opportunity? Because the WBC just is now heavy competition and the best in the world. So why don't you go and find out?
That's it. To another topic, heavy competition. The guy is talking about the Tampa Bay Rays. Clarky, you're on a roll for all the right reasons. Okay. All right, Katie, go ahead and finish this one off.
So for the World Baseball Classic, Duran is also eligible to represent Mexico through his father and Puerto Rico through his mother. So he could choose. He has represented Mexico back in 2023 and now in 2026. Kudos to him. He was the MVP of the 2024 MLB All-Star Game. He's good. Made his major league debut in 2021. He bats left-handed and throws right-handed. So a lefty bat is always interesting in that lineup.
So, quick question. Everybody comment on everything so far? How am I doing? Am I doing all right? Good. We'll go on to the next one. The Angels have acquired infielder Vaughn Grissom from the Red Sox in exchange for minor league outfielder Isaiah Jackson. Some thoughts about the deal, Barry?
It's a role guy. He's going to be able to play several positions on the infield. He probably just got to a point we didn't fit in for the Red Sox, so it's probably a very good move for him. It's kind of a neutral move, I guess, for the Red Sox. They got a prospect for him. I don't think it's a top prospect just looking at the numbers, but I could be wrong about that.
Okay, Barry, I'm having a hard time hearing you. I don't know why. But I'll let you see if we can fix that, but I just want to make sure I bring that up. Yeah. What's that? That's okay. No big deal. I'll make sure everybody hears you as well. Last thing I need is Ronnie 144 going out there and say this is boring. We need to make it interesting for this guy or whatever. All right, hey, Earl Kinsey, family member out there. Good stuff. All right, Barry, can we hear?
Testing 1, 2.
Way much better. Oh my goodness!
Yeah.
I'll tell you what. After, why don't you go ahead and repeat what you said a moment about Vaughn?
I think it's a good move for him. Probably a better move for him than it is for the Red Sox. They got a prospect, but obviously they didn't have a spot for him, and it's probably a good move for him. He'll probably he can play several positions on the infield, and he'll probably get more playing time with the Angels.
Warren?
Well, he's limited defensively. He doesn't have a lot of range, and his bat's his best tool. And that's tough for a middle infielder, maybe he could play some third base, but I don't know if he's not going to hit with much power. So he's going to be strictly, I think, a role player, backup pinch hitter. And, you don't see a lot of pinch hitters in the American League. You don't see a lot of pinch hitters at all anymore. So it's going to be tough for him to find a place. So it's going to be, new home will help his career.
Tony?
Yeah, I mean, it looked like he struggled to stay healthy, really, while he was in Boston. He thought he was going to be an intricate piece to the Chris Sale deal, but that never panned out. Hey, Anaheim, L.A., hopefully he can come out of there, man, because that seems like an elephant graveyard for careers right now. So hopefully he has a good year and he can come out of there, but we'll see how that works out.
All right.
Yeah, already hurt twice in spring training, right? I mean, not good signs. Guy's hands are hurting. He hurt his hand on a missed swing. I've heard of breaking a hamate when someone saws you off, Warren, but I don't know about hurting my hand when I miss, right? So, so I'm trying to figure that one out. So I don't know, man. Is it the Angels need some tough kids, man. I don't know if Grissom's going to fit in. They gotta get some grit. On that floor, a little throwback to Bobby Grich, man. They need some guys who are get in there and do at it. But if this is who they're counting on the off-season trade, with his injury history, he's a TF. He's a thick file, Motor City. And I don't know why when you got a guy who's as Warren said, lack of range, and then he's got a thick file. I don't know what kind of move this is, but I'm sure it's not giving the Anaheim faithful much to cheer about.
TF, thick file. Candy, you got to write that one down. Clark, you know what your homework assignment is, pal? Send me a text. Thick file equals TF. Do it now while you're waiting for the next topic. At TF, thick file. Good stuff.
Thick file.
There you go. Text me. Okay, Candy, go ahead.
Yeah, by acquiring Grissom, the Angels are giving the 24-year-old infielder one more chance to carve out a significant big league role. He's already used his 3 options, so he cannot be optioned to the minors again unless he's granted a 4th option. So interesting that they would do this. Let's just see where he, how he can, how should I say, stay on the field and help them. And then the same with Jackson. He's played in the minors for a while. Maybe they can develop him, and that would be, he's a 3-year starter back at Arizona State in the day. So let's see what, both sides. Hopefully it's a win-win for both, but I'm not thinking it's going to be. But maybe
we don't hope for wins for the Red Sox, Candy. Don't do that.
You know what? It better be nice to him. I may be counting on Saturday to approve a credential request while I'm ready to send. I'm not going to sit here and echo your one-liner called it short to help my cause to get in the ball game. I got to be sort of what you say, Tony's different. I got to be nice, and being nice for me sometimes isn't always easy for people to know me. If you like me, it's okay. If you don't, I'm looking to actually go ahead and make some good Boston contacts out there. And I do want to point out, so has everybody commented on this one?
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
Yeah, I'm trying to actually develop a lot of good Boston contacts out there, because Steve Ballesteri comes from And I actually came across a young lady who, again, you will come across social media, and for those of you that don't know her nationally, you will. This young lady is going to be a star down the ride, and I'm going to divulge her name. Her name is Marley Weirda. There's an individual that everybody should go out there and take note, because I'll tell you, she's an exceptionally young reporter that works for Channel 7 out in Boston, and I've watched this young lady in action, so she's really an impressive talent. But I feel the Boston market is an important market. It's a big market. Of course, Fort Myers is 2 hours away, so you just never know what you're going to come across there. So I got to be nice to people, because I have to get to Fenway Park, and that's on my bucket list, people. Fenway Park. All right. Well, you know what? We want to thank, by the way, the Atlanta Braves and Philadelphia Phillies for hosting us this week. And one of the cool trips over the weekend was actually at a place called Cool Today Park in Northport. And I'll be writing a story on that park probably in the next couple of days. And I have the chance to be seeing the Braves hopefully a couple more times during the spring. But they did sign Robert Suarez. The Braves did agree to a 3-year contract worth $45 million. Barry, your thoughts? And once again, I want to thank both the Phillies and the Braves for hosting us. They were just awesome partners this weekend. So thoughts, though, Barry, about Robert Suarez?
I don't understand how some of these guys are getting the money they get, but it's good for him. So, not an in-depth understanding of that whole deal. So, good for him.
Okay, Warren.
Well, for me, his claim to fame is he drilled Shohei Ohtani last year. That's the otherwise he's a decent pitcher, but yeah, the amount of money that they're handing out today is ridiculous, but they need pitching. So guys like him get multi-year contracts now. It's something that Atlanta needs, and that they'll fit into the bullpen somehow, some way. And he can start or relieve.
Okay, Tony.
This goes to to me, a famous question. What is a championship worth, right? Like, if you feel like you're close and you feel like you're missing that piece, what is it worth? And that $45 million is cheap if you feel like that'll get you a championship, right? And a problem with the Braves the last couple years is who's going to close the games. This is somebody who's coming with 40 saves, and this is their version of kind of putting their chips in. They feel like with health, they should be able to compete with anybody. So I get the deal. It is a lot of money, but hey, it's no salary cap, man. They can throw it around. They're making it. They got it. They're not cutting checks if they're not making more money anyway as an organization. So I'm not mad at the money at all. It's the cost of winning the championship, I guess.
Well, I'll say, you talk about salary cap. I got into that a little bit in terms of with Don Mattingly and another guy that Warren's familiar with, and Tony D. Help me out with the name. Candy, I'm trying to remember because it is Italian name. No, not Diaz. I'm talking about the Tony DiFilippo. He's the writer for up in Philadelphia. We got into that a lot. San Filippo. Okay. Yeah, that's an interview that everybody should, if you haven't been to the YouTube channel, check out, because we go into a lot of detail about the salary cap, and Don Mattingly and I did as well. That will definitely be on a future show as well. So it'll be interesting to see what we can come up with, because that's something, every time you go into a week, you're always trying to find certain interviews. So we'll talk about particular topics, you know what I mean? And if it's a player, you talk about them. If you have somebody more established, then you bring the cap in. And that's what I've been dealing with the last 2 weeks, and I plan to work on it this weekend as well. All right, Clark, can you give me your thoughts about the Suarez signing?
Yeah, I want an award for the MVA, the most valuable agent, because whoever got this guy $45 million at 35 years old, like, walk me through this, man. Like, this dude earned his money right there, and God bless him. Like, Suarez, I mean, like, he comes in a league at 31 after road worn in Mexico and Japan. He's a big dude. Like, okay, I'm all right with that. Like, but Man, this is not the beginning of a career. This is the end. So an average of 15 million down the stretch where he's 38 at the end. Now, you know, you got Araldis in New York. He's a 40-year-old still throwing 100 miles an hour. Like, I mean, I get it, but with injuries, everything else, man, I hope they got Lloyd's to back this thing up because, you know, I'd take 10% just for helping him stay healthy if he wants that. He can call me. He can email me directly if he wants that.
So, Clark, can I ask you a question?
Yeah.
How many times can you text message me in one show? Put NBA on. That's your next project. Do it now.
NBA. Okay.
NBA.
I got you.
NBA.
NBA. You want to start giving an award to like the Octagon boys, don't you? The NBA, the most valuable agent.
Well, right now I'm giving you an award of putting 2 text messages in my phone because my memory is like spaghetti noodles sometimes.
All right. Candy's got you.
Yeah, I know, but right now you're going to text me that, and until you're going to be busy texting that if you keep flipping up those one-liners, Clark. Go ahead, Candy.
So yeah, he didn't come over into America and start playing. He played with the Padres from 2022 to 2025. 219 strikeouts, 77 saves, earned run average of 2.91, and that's worthy of $45 million on a 3-year contract. I think I need to start taking up pitching here. Just kidding. But I mean, really.
Get that arm loose, Candy. Get that arm loose. Like, you know?
I used to pitch for softball, so, you know, it can't be that much different, can it? Really?
No, can't be.
But, no, I mean, yeah. So, I wish him well, and I hope he does well for the Braves. I think they're trying to compete and trying to get some more arms in there to compete with the Dodgers and the Mets, and, you know, yeah, it'll be interesting. You know, he was suspended for 2 games and fined an undisclosed amount for intentionally hitting Shohei Ohtani on a pitch on June 19th. So, you know, but he made 2 All-Star appearances as well. So we'll see how well he fares and how healthy he can. As Trent said, he's more near the end of his career, you know. Going to be 38 when the end of the contract is up. So
he hit Shohei Ohtani. Oh my God, unbelievable! All right, we'll stay with the Braves team a little bit because Mike Yastrzemski has agreed to a 2-year deal with the Atlanta Braves. He's a target of mine. Hopefully, since I'm hoping to have the Braves 1 or 2 more times, Mike Yastrzemski's in there. But Barry, what are your thoughts about Mike Yastrzemski taking him, his bat, and his history over to the Braves?
Well, the last name is very good.
Yeah, right.
You know, he's a good left-handed bat in the lineup. You know, looks like he's a fairly good defensive player. He's got some pop. So I think he'll be a good addition to their ball club. And I think from what I see, he's a good guy on the ball club too. So that guy who's the extra guy, who's the fill-in guy, who maybe is platoon guy, it's good that he's also a good teammate. So I think that he fits in well with Braves.
Warren?
Yeah, he's definitely had a great career so far. You know, he had some really good years in San Francisco. I saw him hit a few balls into the McCovey Cove, and he played really well for the Giants. You know, I was kind of sorry to see him go to Kansas City, but now this is he's going to get a chance to play in Atlanta, even if he platoons and just plays against right-handers, because the majority of the pitching's right-handed. So he'll get a lot of opportunity there, and that's a good ballpark for him to hit in. You know, because he does have some pop. He's a good player, and he can play right field. He's got a good arm, so he's good defensive. He's not going to hurt you defensively either.
Tony?
Yeah, and the one thing is he may have went from being a guy who platooned to being a necessity since Profar got popped. Yeah, so like he may play more than expected now, and the Braves may have to use that insurance plan. I'm glad they had Geico. He's going to be solid, you know, a good bullpen guy. I mean, good locker room guy, dugout guy, like you said, ultimate pro. He's going to be in a lineup where he's protected, so he's going to see a lot of good pitches, you know. So I'm interested to see how he does.
Well, I want to have another footnote about the Braves to get ready for this topic, everybody in advance. I had an opportunity. I don't know if you guys have heard of him. I believe it was Tony Diaz. Have you ever heard of him? this guy here is the coach of the Braves. If you haven't, you're going to know about him. I'll be writing a story on him. He's on the Braves coaching staff. And tell you, his manager, Walt Weiss, has a lot of good things to say about him for sure. Yeah, so get ready for that as we continue on. All right, Trent.
Yeah, Yaz is solid, right? He's just a solid ball player, and you gotta like that. He's 35. Again, I was surprised to think he was that old. I didn't see him as that old of a player, but at 35 on a 2-year deal, guaranteed 23. So they got an option on him in his 3rd year for 7.
Wow.
So, man, he'll be 38 playing the outfield. And, with Profar's exit, as Tony kind of mentioned it, like that suspension is going to be legit. And then all of a sudden, you got to think about that, man. Now you got a 35 guy going out playing, 90 of the first 100 games. It's a lot of wear and tear, man. That's tough. So how diligent he is about taking care of himself, everything else, that'll play a big role in the Braves' future. Because one of these guys has something happen here. They're pretty solid with the 3 of the 4 with Profar out, but one goes out, and all of a sudden you're banking on a 21, 22-year-old kid coming in and doing something, hoping, and hope's not a strategy, right? And so the Braves kind of set themselves up for maybe maybe something down the road that if you can't stay healthy, it'd be tough.
All right, Candy.
He started his professional career back in 2013 in the minor leagues. But now, what I thought was kind of interesting, little tidbit about him, on September 1st of 2024, at Oracle Park against the Marlins, Yastrzemski hit his 100th career home run, making his grandfather and himself the 4th grandfather-grandson duel in Major League history to hit at least 100 career home runs. So he's got pop in his bat. He made 140 appearances that year, 18 home runs, played with the Royals, made 50 appearances. Now he's with the Braves. I think he's going to get more chance. I will say that when we watched him on Sunday, we were at the Phillies, and yes, he is good in defense. He did miss a fly ball out to him, but I will be honest with you, I would have missed that. The sun was horrendous. It was my first time ever being at that ballpark, and to look into the sun at that time of day was just horrific. So I don't, I mention it, but it's not like that's a normal.
No, I'm not pinning that one on Mike either. that Phillies spring training place is really a cool place to go. And we were able to take out 2 newbies. Candy and I are down to 1, and that's out in Dunedin. And if we don't see it this spring because we're running out of time, we're going to get there for the Florida State League because nobody knows about spring training this year. Then we'll hit all the spring training parks in both the Cactus and Grand as well. Well, you know what, Barry? I've had Barry Foote on my mind for a long time. And now Don Mattingly has you on his mind too because you brought up the Mattingly curse. But that said, okay, Katie, go to the tape. Don has some choice words with Barry Foote.
Thank you. Appreciate it. I always like being on.
I love having you, man. You're one of my favorite people of all time for sure. I know you have a lot of work to do, but Barry Foote, right?
I do.
Yeah, he's on my show every Monday night. So,
all right.
So we're going to talk a little Barry at the beginning because he's going to hear this tomorrow on the show. So Barry, my co-host, jokes around with you that there's a Mattingly curse, meaning that what happened with the Yankees, he kind of missed a little bit later. And then last year in the World Series, you came a little bit close, maybe not away. What's your message to Barry?
Barry, I don't know what that message is, but I just look at the game as I've been blessed. I've been in great spots. Sometimes the timing is not great. I feel like there's been a lot of guys that kind of fall into where I've been, still fighting for that ring. So got pretty close last year. Had an out in the ninth with the lead, and I don't think it's the Mattingly curse though.
Okay. Hey, listen, he's going to hear this. I didn't say it was him, so I promised my co-host I'd mention it, and here I am in Clearwater doing it.
No worries.
All I am is the messenger, but I love it. Hey, it is what it is.
All right, Barry.
I can't believe you didn't tell him I cut off the chicken's head to try to break the curse.
Oh, I have to be careful because I'm dealing with some issues in production there that would go out there and get me in trouble. But you got to understand, Barry, the production and the behind the scenes stuff. There, what you have to do to put out one of these things. I pretty much got the message out there, but it's not like the FCC where if you say one stupid thing, you're getting fined $10,000. And luckily in my days back in the day, Warren, when there was none of this extra stuff, I had to deal with FCC, and you want to talk about a $10,000 fine back in '79 was worth a whole lot more money than it is now. All right, Barry, what's your response to Don?
Oh, I love Mattingly. He's a great baseball guy. I root for him to win a ring. He certainly has put in quality time, both as a manager, as a coach, and as a player, to deserve the opportunity to win a ring. But hey, look, those rings are elusive. I was with Brew for 2 seasons. I thought we had the best team in baseball, especially in '77. And it took till 1980 and the addition of, I think, probably Rose coming over and just kind of changed the complexion of the ball club. So those things are hard to get. They're elusive. And if you get one, you got to treasure it. So I'm rooting for him to get one.
I would say Don Mattingly, when I presented that question to him, and I told him before we went on the air yesterday, and he him and I are brothers. I mean, we're, think about it. I follow him now to 14. If you think about it, you got the Marlins, and we had the Blue Jays, and now the Phillies, and of course, I knew him back with the Yankees back in the '80s. So you talk about a good relationship. When I applied for that Phillies credential, initially we were declined, but then the guy speaks to Mattingly. Yeah, I'll talk to him. And then the guy goes ahead. This is really interesting how this business is working out. Decided to take that denied and turn it into approved. But by then, I was already going to West Palm Beach, and I ended up getting it rescheduled for yesterday. And let me tell you, the Phillies organization, their PR people are just class act. So I had to pull some strings here, Barry, to make sure it was on. And Don went along with it. We had a blast with it. And, the one thing, Don, that Barry and Warren could say, the one thing about the game of baseball is it's a big pond, but you know who your friends are, and your friends always remember you. And it isn't as big of a pond as you think, which is why I have so many people that I can go out there and feel pretty good about it. Don't you guys agree that it's definitely a short world, Barry? And
no question about it. It's,
Right.
There's only a few thousand guys that have been at the big league level that are still alive, and so it is a small group of. It's a good fraternity, and I'm certainly a fan of Mattingly's.
Yeah, he likes you too. All right, Uncle Warren, what are your thoughts about that little exchange between these two guys?
Oh, it was great. It's funny. He just happens. It's just an oddity of baseball. It's crazy. Just he's in the wrong place. Hasn't been in the right place at the right time. He's been a great player, great coach, great manager. He's done it all in the game on the field, and it's just elusive, just not being able to get a ring yet. But in time, I'm sure he will get one. There's no question about it.
I just tell everybody in the audience, whether you're listening or watching us, okay, I have a lot of things I'm coming up with spring training, and it's always fun to be able to figure out which one's going to put on every given week. So stay tuned. If you haven't subscribed to our channel, South Florida Tribune, please hit the red subscribe button. I'm learning a little bit from Candy anyways. And go out there and hit that. You get all the notifications. That's how you say it, Candy. And then you get all this good baseball stuff. Everything that I can put a microphone on off will be on these shows at some point, or versions of them. All right, Tony, you're on with Don, at least. And before Clarky gets out of here, I got another soundbite we're going to go with. Go ahead, Tony. Some thoughts about the Mattingly curse.
Hey man, a Yankee captain I can never hate, but it's a little iffy, man. Like it's just, if he's not cursed, it's just a crazy coincidence, man. It's just it's just a crazy coincidence. That's what we'll just call it. We'll leave it at that. But I get what Barry's saying. You guys have been in a position. It's elusive, right? It's hard. There's a reason why the same team doesn't win all the time. There's a reason why every player doesn't have one, right? All the stars have to align. definitely not Don Mattingly's fault at all, right? He's done everything that he could possibly do to be a champion. And he's a winning player, so he'll get one. The thing is, he has to reunite with the Yankees. That's what he gets.
I'll tell you how many times that's one of the few things I didn't mention, but anyways, that'll be a good segue though, Tony, about what I'm about to put up in a moment. All right, Clarky.
Yeah, I mean, nobody would. Everyone would associate a World Series with Don Mattingly, right? Like he's a champion. He's a great player. It just makes sense that he does have one. But to Barry's point, there's been a lot of great athletes who didn't get it, along in whatever their sport, right? And they were champions and did really well, and it never worked. And so there is that kind of, man, like how do you get there, and I'm totally fortunate, right? Like I get to be a part of 3 of them and won one. And it is elusive, man. And everyone looks at like, oh, the American League Championship ring, like it's first loser, man. Like it's not the World Championship, bro. Like it's just is what it is, right? So you're hoping, and Barry made a great point. When I was in Cleveland, we were a wrecking crew. 95 and 97. I felt like, to Barry's point, we were the best team in baseball. But I also found that out of these 121 World Series, I don't know if the best team always wins. Like the team that is positioned and gets hot and stays healthy, and there's just so many factors that go into that final kind of gig. But a friend of mine recently kind of said about that, like, man, the guy's been involved with almost 3% of all the World Series, and I thought it's a weird thing to say, but it is elusive. Like at the end of the day, it's kind of like March Madness, which is coming up, right? I know you'll talk about that on your show, Motor City, but everyone loses except one team. Everyone ends the season with a loss except one team, right? And so it's a tough thing, man. It's just not easy.
All right, Candy, you heard it. You heard that and then some.
I know. I did hear that. I love Don Mattingly. I love the relationship, Scott, you have with him. The fact that last year when you did the interview, I think they were really surprised. The PR people were surprised that Don was going to do an interview with you, because I don't think he interviews with everybody. I think he picks and chooses at this point. He's also one of those guys that doesn't want the spotlight on him. It's not about him, it's about everybody else. And I thought it was really interesting when we were watching them take some batting practice and some fielding practice, that he went out on the field and like he was working with the first baseman and like, okay, this is how you need to position yourself. And this is how even at the big league level, when you think these kids have played these positions for how long already, but yet they still need coaching. They still need tweaking. And he's out there coaching on the field, on the spot. Loved it. Loved your interaction with him. Loved hearing this. Yes, winning the last game of the World Series is it. I mean, it comes down to one game that you've got to win. It's got to be, and yes, I know it's a series, but that last game is the game that you got to win, and you got to be on the winning side. And there is 2 teams, and there's how many other teams that have, lost up to that point. So part of it is just luck, and we talk about you got to have and it's not an individual sport. That's the other thing. It's a team sport. So it's not just you don't control it. Everybody on that team controls it. The pitchers, how they're pitching in that game that they're playing, the batters, the fielders, everything has to go right for you to win the World Series. And there have been a lot of greats that have not won a World Series. And there's some teams out there that have not won a World Series, much less a player, so.
Well, you can say that. We talked about Mike Yastrzemski. Well, here you go. You stood up for Carl Yastrzemski, never won one either. So, all right, with that said, we're not told Mattingly by any stretch, because you know what? I asked him about whether or not he'd want to manage again. So go ahead, Candy, put it up there.
do something like this. I was happy for him.
So do you think we could ever see Don Mattingly manage again? I know at this point you could probably, though, be selective of the jobs that you want, not have to worry about a rebuilding situation where, hey, I can see it's no matter where you would go.
I don't think it is, honestly. I think the managing days have passed me by. It's a lot of energy, 4 games, after games, off season. And, I'm at a point I'm going to turn 65 this year. I just don't think I have the energy for it.
Okay.
You probably never say never. I thought last year was going to be my last year. And, Dave ends up talking me into coming back here. So you never say never, but I don't see it something as part of my future.
And, well, let's talk about.
So there you have it, Don Mattingly. Not thinking about managing. Barry, what are your thoughts? And the Dave he was referring to is Dave Dombrowski, the general manager. Go ahead, Barry.
Well, yeah, I think in the olden days, 65 was considered old for a manager, but not anymore. I mean, he's probably got plenty of energy to manage. I was, around a lot of managers. They didn't have to have an overly amount of energy. I know a manager that Brew and I had in Philadelphia, he wasn't real energized, but so it doesn't. I think he would be fine managing. He'd do a good job. He needs the right spot, though. I don't think he needs to be back with a club rebuilding. If he got a chance to be with a club that's got a chance to win, I would certainly encourage him to take the job.
Well, one of the things he works on, and I talk about this every show, but yesterday I made sure it was early in there. Look it up too. Mattingly Charities is a nonprofit that he does some really good things with. So Candy, why don't you go out there and put that in the chat, Mattingly Charities, so that people can see it, and that's one of the things that keeps Don going. All right, Warren.
Well, you see guys like Bruce Bochy who step down, they get out of the game for a year, and all of a sudden they want to get right back in it, So that's the way he feels today. But if he's, like you said, Dave Dombrowski brought him back for this year. If he decides to retire for a year or two, he'll miss it, and I wouldn't be surprised if that situation, the right situation came along. I'm sure he would manage again.
Well, keep in mind, one of the enticing reasons he did come here is his son, Preston Mattingly, is the general manager.
Right.
Opportunity to go there as well. And I asked him about that. And in future shows, I'm going to let you hear that conversation. I want to make sure we got these two out right away. Okay, go ahead, Tony.
Don Mattingly, there's one job left for you. It's a guy who's in New York who's been holding down the fort a little too long, if you ask me as a fan, but I might be too close to the situation. Don Mattingly, come save the day. Break 2 curses. Two.
Okay.
The curse of Aaron Boone and the curse of Don Mattingly, or the coincidence. Let's call it coincidence. Let's break both of those in one. It's one job left for him to do, man. He can come to New York, make everything right, get a ring with the Yankees. I know a ring with any team would be great, but imagine Don Mattingly getting a ring with the Yankees. That's just, come on, full circle moment. They write movies about stuff like that, man.
Curse of Aaron Boone.
Hey, I'm just saying, he ain't been the same since he hit that home run. I'm just saying. But
yeah, you always come up with some good stuff, Tony. It's called a compliment. You ever heard of the word compliment?
Yeah,
I just gave you one. All right, Clarky. We have one more topic that Clark's going to talk about before he bolts at 9. But I think we're moving on schedule. Go ahead, Clark. Give me your thoughts about this.
Well, first of all, I'm in Tony Hollywood's camp over here, man. He's writing up scripts for everybody, man. I like Don Mattingly coming back to the Yankees. I see Don Mattingly in a ticker tape parade right down through New York, man. Get him right through Manhattan with that big ring on. I think it'd be great.
Bring the mustache back.
Yeah, bring that back. Come on. Oh. And then, listen, 65, to Barry's point, our president's going to be 80 in June, man. Like, you got a staff around you. Like, let's go. This baseball team's got more money than the country does. So, like, why don't, he could put a good staff around him. So, like, with Don Mattingly's mind, I do appreciate the energy. I don't think he's wrong on that. Even if it's mental energy, the travel, the 162, and nowadays, you might need to be a tech genius with all the, lingo that's driving on everybody about like the hitting and the pitching and the angles and the spin rates and it's a little bit overwhelming, but here's a guy who's known the game from the word go, and he's just represented it so well. I'm in Tony Hollywood's camp, man. I'm ready for a little ticker tape with Don Mattingly, man.
Let's go.
Hey, Tony, how many nicknames can you have? I already pinned Bessemer City on you, and now we'll put Hollywood. So you know what, Tony?
Hey,
Here's
Tony.
what we're gonna do. Wait, hold on.
This is the risk, Motor City. This is the risk you run when you just put Tony on your day. Tony, just Tony. You're gonna get a nickname.
Hey,
Oh no, he's got two of them. You system. You gave him one, and I gave him one with Bessemer City. You weren't even on that show when I pinned that one on him, and now he's got two of them. This guy's gonna be on 3 shows. So Tony, I'm gonna yell it at you because I've been bursting for this opportunity. When you come on baseball, we'll figure out the nickname for the Saturday show. So on Monday, you're Hollywood. Wednesday, you're Bessemer City. And Saturday, TBD. All right, Tony? That's how we're going to market you here. You hear me? Good stuff, Tony. I love this guy. All right, Katie, get us out of this one. And we got to go to our featured topic because, Clark, you're going to stay on for this last segment, okay? You are because it's obvious you got your name written all over it. All right, Katie.
I get the comment about energy because he's not just talking about during the season. He's talking about before the season, the prep work. Whereas, now he gets time. He can really disconnect a little bit. He can spend time. He has 2 grandkids now. Like, he can go spend time with them. Does he have the energy that he wants to put into managing a team? Spending all day long. How many days, spring training, all that. Like he said, you never say never, because if the right situation presented itself, I'm sure he would jump on managing the Yankees. I'm sure there are a couple other teams, as long as they're not rebuilds, because that's not what he wants. Need that would take too much energy. But I think the right fit, right team, yes, I think I could see him doing it. But I also see him stepping back a little bit and just enjoying life. Like he's been part of baseball for how many years? It might be hard to step back, but interesting. We'll see. Only time will tell whether he gets another gig or not.
Well, the bottom line is he's got the name Donnie Baseball for a reason. Give me a break. I work with a guy in Miami, and he did the best he could with that organization and has more wins than any Miami manager that's been there. And yet, if you give him a little bit of money to work with, then he would have won one by now. And I'll say that, but I'm not giving it away. No, wait till that new collective bargaining agreement comes where you have a salary floor. Then the Marlins will be forced to spend some money. Then give Don Mattingly that roster. Then you got a different ball game. But I know I work with Miami Marlins, and he made a lot more out of that than anybody could. Final topic for Clark, at least, and then which is our feature topic. A few more topics I want to get to as well as we wrap things up. And that's it. It's our feature topic of the night. The Dodgers signed Edwin Diaz to get 3 years, $69 million, and his new AAV record for a reliever. The Mets let this guy get away, and the Dodgers added another piece. And I guess as the title says, the Dodgers get richer, adding to the bullpen. Edwin Diaz, welcome to the freeway, and you don't have to worry about many subways when you're going to New York. Barry, your thoughts about this one?
Well, when he's on, he's great. And he was on most of the time with the Mets. He had one bad stretch, but he's kind of, relievers, the closers are kind of like place kickers. They could go through a dry spell at some point in time, but now he's a quality guy. I like that $59 million spent better than the $45 million on Suarez. But he's the kind of guy that can take them to that three-peat that they want to do in LA. And he's been in the big spotlight. So being in the LA is not going to be a big difference for him. In fact, it's probably the atmosphere in LA is probably going to be less than the one in New York. So I think it's great for them. It's great for him. I mean, who doesn't want to play with the Dodgers right now? I mean, that's just that's a primo place to go right at the moment.
Yeah, no doubt about that. All right, Uncle Warren, what you're talking about this Diaz, okay, and I will be talking about the other one probably next week.
Well,
But
without question, he's an elite closer, and so and it's
Right.
what the Dodgers need. They need somebody they can depend on in the ninth inning. It's kind of been a revolving door, and they haven't had anybody consistently close games for them. And now they have somebody, and then the other guys can fit in the seventh and eighth inning and get them to him, because he's an elite closer, one of the best in the game right now. And it's just the Dodgers are going out and getting the pieces that they need to continue being a contender and continue to do well in the playoffs and trying to get a three-peat.
Okay. All right, Tony, Hollywood. Wednesday it'll be Bessemer City. All right, but tonight you're Hollywood.
I'm very excited to see Edwin Diaz come out in the ninth inning and the lights go out in LA and that music goes to playing. Oh my God, that is going to be a sight to see every time he comes to close the game. I think this is a thing where Edwin Diaz just was sick of the Mets, and the Mets you can't sign Devin Williams, man. You can't bring in the new girl without talking to your main, man. You can't bring in the side piece like that. And that's kind of what they did. And Edwin Diaz was like, all right, I got something for you. I'm going to go to LA, because the Mets said that they would match that offer. And he did not even think about it. He went straight to LA, and it's a better organization. You want to go where you got the best chance to win. I'm not mad at it. A lot of people are probably mad at the Dodgers because they spending money. Look, if you run any business, you want the best person for the position. He was the best person available. They gave the Mets a chance. He didn't want to be there.
Right.
I'm cool with it,
Okay. Well, what about you, Clark? It's your last topic of the night. Where are you at with this? And do you have one more text message in case something comes out? We're going to make it do another one.
I don't know. For Diaz, man, I mean, like he didn't have a great year last year. I think the Mets continue to shoot themselves in the foot.
Right.
Not you, Barry. Just shoot themselves in the foot, man. And I think they piss their guys off. They just like kind of Hollywood Tony's point, right? It's a little disrespect, right? They bring in this thing, and you're like, man, really? Because I think there's a couple guys who can't wait to get back there and show them what's what, right? Like they're tired, and I think they're gone. I do want to do a shout out to the Dodgers and their $1 billion payroll. I will play for league minimum right now, just in case, I'd take the ring, because they're getting one again. Like it's crazy, right? So like if they got a roll over there, I'm available. And so it's impressive what they're doing. And they're the new Yankees, right? Like, this is the one thing Hollywood Tony's not gonna like, man. But like, I love it when the Yankees call foul that someone's spending too much money. I think that's always funny when that happens, right?
I don't. I can't be that hypocrite. But
good. Okay, good.
Yeah,
because Hollywood can be a little hypocritical, Tony. So I'm glad you're not jumping on that wagon, because when the Dodgers beat him, it was like, yeah, but they went and spent all that money. Like, you did that for freaking 30 years, right? So it's interesting, man. Is there no cap? I mean, I'm serious. Are they going to reach $1 billion in salary cap? Like, they just drop money. And I love it when they sign a Japanese pitcher and go, he's only $224 million. Who's ever put an only in front of that number ever? I don't know, man. Dodgers got monopoly money out there in Dodger, man. It's La La Land.
Yeah, it is monopoly money. All right, Candy. All right, I'll tell you what. Before I go to Candy, all right, you did great stuff tonight, Clarky. Monopoly money, I can remember that one. I've used it. But all right, go ahead. Let everybody know they're going to hold you. And let's talk about your book.
Please reach out to me. Thank you. Reach out to me, Trent at leadershipity.com, leadershipity.com. I coach a lot of organizations to greatness, to growth. Love it. And you can pick up my book, Leading Winning Teams. I wrote that with Wiley Publishing. And check out my podcast, Leading Winners Find a Way. That's my podcast, Winners Find a Way. So check that out. We have a new podcast too rolling out called Winning Ways, where I interview a lot of people about their kind of one thing that they do really well. So check that out. Always love to interact with everybody. So I'll see you down the road.
Well, we love having him on Monday nights when he can get there. I always shoot him an invite when he comes on. He's a lot of fun. All right. Clarky,
See
I'll
you
be in
guys.
touch with
Thanks.
you
Thanks
via
to see you,
text
Candy.
message. We'll get down soon. All right, thanks, Clarky. All right, Candy, why don't you pick up the narrative about the Dodgers and their free spending way? Clarky, we'll see you. All right, go ahead, Candy.
1 month after his major league debut, Diaz set a Mariners franchise record by recording 11 consecutive outs via strikeout. He surpassed Hall of Famer Randy Johnson's previous franchise record of 10, which had been set in 1997. Subsequently, he was named the team's closer. Now, obviously, he has gone on and he's played for different teams. The one thing I will say about the Mets weren't afraid to spend money last year either, or the last couple of years. They spent quite a bit. But where did it get them? You can't always buy championships. And we talk about the Dodgers, yes, and maybe they very well may, but you can't always buy championships. And one of the things that I would say is that I don't see the Mets being a franchise that a lot of people are having fun playing and gelling with as a team. I just didn't see that. We'll see. The Dodgers seem to be having fun. They're spending money. They don't care. They're bringing on all these guys. We'll see if that translates to championship at the end as well.
You know what? I got a question. I like this one. Maybe Warren or Barry can answer this. A good one, Earl. Does the Bat Boy get a ring? If so, I will sign up with the Dodgers. That was good, Earl. I like that. All right, tell you what, there's two people qualified to answer that question. We'll start off with you, Barry.
I'm not 100% sure, but I can tell you when I was with the Yankees, I've never seen so many rings given out. So I would imagine they were giving them out to the Bat Boys. They gave them out to everybody else. They had a bunch of minority owners. They'd come on the team plane and they'd all have rings on. So,
Wow.
yeah, I'm not sure about the Bat Boys. I imagine if you've been around a long time, it's up to the ownership. And they can give them to whoever they want. So I'm not sure. I don't know, Brew. I don't know if you know the answer to that.
No, I don't know the answer, but I know a lot of front office people get them. So it just it depends on the ownership wherever they draw the line.
Yeah, thank you.
But I think everybody involved deserves one. Everybody that is involved with winning a championship should get a ring, whether it's front office people, bat boys, maintenance people, for field workers, everything.
That's a great question, Earl. I like that one. Yeah. Go ahead, Candy.
Bat Boys often receive World Series rings, as the decision does rest with team ownership, which frequently extends this honor to clubhouse staff, including Bat Boys trainers and equipment managers, for their contribution to the season. For example, the Bat Boys for the 2020 Dodgers received championship rings. Sometimes other employees, such as security or clubhouse personnel, may also receive rings.
Wow, great.
Ownership also decides who receives rings, often rewarding all staff, sometimes even with a scaled down version, though.
Okay. There you have it, Earl. Mrs. Research just gave you some information. The Dodgers will probably be looking for your application soon, and let them know that 108 Stitches Baseball Talk, South Florida Tribune Media Network sent you there. Okay. Let's go ahead and kick around the Mets, because this is definitely worth doing it. Pete Alonso will return to Citi Field for the first time. And you know what? This guy here, that will actually be on September 14th to the 16th, 2026. So let me repeat this information. Pete Alonso will return to Citi Field for the first time on September 14th, 16th, 2026. Well, tell you one thing, Camden Yards is he's going to hit a lot of dingers there, but Mets get to see him for a few times. I expect big crowds there, Barry.
Well, I think where the Mets ownership, it's lost a little bit of understanding. It takes a certain kind of guy to perform in New York. Some guys can be stars other places. They don't perform as well in New York. That guy proved he could perform in New York. He was a fan favorite in New York. And they throw money around left and right. I think it was foolish of them to let him go, even though I know it was probably he wanted more time on the contract. than they're willing to give. But
Right.
no, I hope he does well against them. I hope he hits a lot of home runs. I'm kind of a fan of his, so I hope he does well.
Okay. Warren?
I still don't understand why they let him go. It doesn't
Yeah.
make sense the way they're throwing around money, and to let somebody that's done what he's done for him for the last 5 years, 6 years, just didn't make any sense to let him go. And like Barry said, it's tough to play in New York. It takes a certain type of mentality to play there. You're really under the spotlight every day. It's a big stage. And as well as he played there, I don't understand why they didn't re-sign him. Maybe the length of the contract was the breaking point in the negotiations. But boy, I mean, for what he's done, there's no reason that they shouldn't have given him what he wanted.
Uncle Warren, there's only one word to be able to describe what you just said. You ready for this, Uncle Warren?
Sure.
Mind-boggling.
Yes, it is. Right.
Mind-boggling. All right, Hollywood, Bessemer City, you're up on this one.
Scott, I thought you was going to use the word disrespect because it was disrespectful.
No, I'll leave that one for you to use.
Yeah, because it was disrespectful the way they did him. He even played on the 1-year deal and kind of bet on himself for them to once again obviously say, well, good job. Maybe go find the money elsewhere, which he did. And I think that's probably what the Mets thought, that he wasn't going to find the money elsewhere, but he did. And I got a feeling when he goes back to Citi Field, Lord, I feel sorry for who's pitching. They might want to have their ace on the mound. They might want to have their 1, 2, and 3 for those 3 sets because he's coming to inflict pain on the ball. I've never seen somebody basically announce their free agency that fast as Pete Alonso did. He basically still had on his Mets uniform in the locker room and was like, I'm not coming back. So I think he's ready to stick it to him.
Okay, Candy.
The Mets selected Alonso in the second round of the 2016 Major League Draft, 65th pick overall. He signed with the Mets for a $200 signing bonus. Made his professional league debut in 2016. He's played his whole career with the Mets. How do you do someone that's played their whole career, has 264 home runs, 951 runs, batting average is 253? How do you tell him, oh, we don't want you anymore now? I mean, he's not like so old. He's 31 years old. He's from Tampa, Florida. He wanted to stay, I think, but with the disrespect that he got in that last contract, he wanted out. And I think he saw the writing on the wall that it wasn't a good locker room. It wasn't good chemistry. And he wanted to go someplace else where he was respected. So like you said, Tony, disrespect. So he took his money and went.
And I'm going to tell you what, he's going to do well in Baltimore. There's only a couple more topics I want to get to. Making pretty good pace, Barry. Obviously, it was important for me to get Mattingly in for you, but I want to make sure we get these updates in so everybody knows where we're at and schedule the show. Being this, the MLB World Tour Mexico City Series has been announced that the Padres and the Diamondbacks will play April 25th and 26th at Estadio Alfredo Harp Baseball. That's as much Spanish as you're getting out of me because I'm bad Mexican. All right, what are your thoughts about at least Barry and everybody, the Mexico cities? I don't think you could have two better teams than the Padres and the Diamondbacks because they're near the Mexican border and they're pretty decent teams out there. Some thoughts, Barry?
They should have baseball in Mexico City. They should have a team in Mexico City. Obviously, security is an issue, but Mexico City is a dynamic city. It's a world-class city. 25 to 30 million people live in that area, so they should have baseball there. I think it's good for baseball. As a player, I don't think you particularly like going and playing those type of games. One game into a city or whatever, but for the game of baseball, it's good, and I really think they should have baseball in Mexico City, Major League Baseball.
What about you, Uncle Warren?
Oh, I agree 100%. It would be a huge market, and it just all it would do is take a team that's maybe floundering or not being able to compete to be able to compete because the revenue that they would get putting a team in Mexico City. It's great. It's great for the fans. It's great for baseball.
Yeah, I don't know about the logistics, but I agree with both. Yeah, I could see a team in Mexico City all day long. Logistically, I don't know, but yeah, I'd like to see it. All right, Tony.
And they fly private. They'll be all right. They'll get there. They can get around. But I do. I think it'll be good. I mean, if you needed any case study, look at the quarterfinal of the World Baseball Classic in Houston. It was basically 70-30 Mexico, U.S. when it comes to fandom. So it shows their love for baseball. You pointed out, Barry, it's like the 4th or 5th highest populated city in the world. So just by that number of people, you're going to sell out a stadium, right? You can get 30,000 people in the stadium when you have that many people who can get in. I like the idea of it. The altitude would be difficult to play. They play in Denver. It's going to be different, but security, as long as they can keep it secure, I would like that, a team in Mexico.
Okay, Candy.
I was surprised because when I looked this up, the capacity for the stadium is only 20,062. So I was kind of surprised by that feature. The other thing is these are actually home games for the Diamondbacks, not the Padres. It's a 2-game set on Saturday, April 25th and Sunday, April 26th. It's part of the 81-game home schedule for the D-backs. You can buy tickets if you want. You can be there's actually Mexico City travel packages that you can even go, and there's includes accommodations and all that. I think it's smart. Obviously, we've seen the NFL expand into all kinds of different areas, and they're doing really well. So it's in Mexico City, Earl, Mexico. The stadium is Alfredo Harp Helú Stadium in Mexico City, Mexico. They've played there before. MLB has played there before, so it's not the first time. But I think I'm interested in seeing it because I've heard that the stadium is known for its striking architecture. So I think it will look very, cool and different. And it's got a trident-shaped roof, so it is. And it's an on-site art museum as well. So knowing that you're going to be playing baseball there because it's got the roof, you're guaranteed games no matter what the weather is. I think it's cool, and I think it's cool to expand. You got to market yourself like the NFL does. If you want to make more money and it's a business, we sometimes forget that.
Okay, well, one more topic. I know World Baseball Classic. I have a little commentary I want to put out there. That topic is Mark Leiter Jr. signed with the Athletics. He's appeared in 59 games for the Yankees in 2020. I believe 2025. With a 4.84 earned run average across 48.1 innings, 54 strikeouts, and a 1.53 WHIP. He also made 6 postseason appearances in 2024, where he recorded a 1.69 ERA. Barry, some thoughts about the fit with Leiter going to the A's?
He can get some innings in. He's a middle innings guy. There's nothing special about him. He's a major league pitcher that's going to throw those, get you to the 7th, 8th, and 9th inning. Could get you to the 7th, 8th. So he'll get a lot of opportunities to pitch there this year for sure.
Uncle Warren.
Well, they need some veteran pitchers, and they're getting to the point now when they move to Las Vegas, they'll be able to go out and sign free agents, which they haven't been able to do much in the past. They'd have to take lower tier free agents, and he's one. I think he signed for 2.5, 2.8, something like that, which fits into their payroll. So, and he'll definitely help them. I mean, he'll eat innings, and that's what they need, and as they're continuing to develop their young arms in the minor leagues and bringing them slowly to the big leagues.
Okay. Tony?
Oddly enough, Mark Leiter seems like the kind of player that goes to a place like Sacramento, I was about to say Oakland, and becomes like an all-star, because he can just go play freely, not going to be a lot of eyes on him. I think that's going to be a good situation for him, and it works out for the A's. Like you said, it's a cheap contract. It fits in their wheelhouse. It needs innings eater, and he's become a vet, so he can be a good guy for the young players that they have.
Andy.
He was born in Fort Lauderdale, Florida. And did you know this? He was drafted by the Philadelphia Phillies in the 22nd round of the 2013 Major League Baseball draft. He made his professional debut that year with the GCL Phillies, and he was promoted to Clearwater Threshers. And the reason why I bring that up is that's the ballpark that we were at on Sunday when we were watching the Phillies and the Braves. But for the Athletics, low risk, high reward. You got nothing to lose. Yeah, he signed him to a 1-year, $2.85 million contract. Last year, he made 59 appearances out of the bullpen. He compiled a 6-7 record with a 4.84 ERA with 54 strikeouts, 2 saves across 48 in the third innings pitched. So you can never have too many relievers that can come in and help you close out games. Middle innings, sometimes you need that long reliever if the starter can't go. So low risk.
Yeah, the bottom line is the A's are doing everything they can to build that roster. By the time we get to Las Vegas soon enough. All right, let's go to a WBC update. By now, everybody knows that the United States upset the Dominican Republic by a score of 2-1 in their game in the WBC semifinals. For a lot of you folks wondering about the Dominican Republic, they lost fair and square. They were actually, when you look at the numbers, the USA pitching was elite. They were scoreless in the 4th, 5th, 7th, and 9th. That's dominance. And obviously, let's break down some of the innings and let the experts talk about it. In the 4th inning, 2 outs, Dominican Republic, it was 2-1 USA. Not happening there. In the 5th inning, first runners at first and second, 1 out, USA 2-1. Not happening there. In the bottom of the 7th inning, USA 2-1. Runners at second and third, not happening there. And then in the 9th, Dominican Republic had a man on second, 1 out, 2-1. Not happening there. Reality is, Team Dominican Republic, you need to score more than 1 run, and the United States took care of business, and that's why they sent you home. Barry, some thoughts about what took place in that contest?
It's very simple. Good pitching will beat good hitting most of the time, and that's what happened last night.
Right.
Pretty simple.
Warren?
Well, it's amazing but like that Barry just said, good pitching beats good hitting. To hold that American team to 2 runs in a game is amazing, And then the biggest thing of that was the call to end the game. They were upset about that because it wasn't in the strike zone. So they're, and it's all that is more fodder for getting the strike zone, the official or the. I can't remember what they call it.
Yeah, the ABS is what you're talking about.
Yeah, right. Yeah, which is sad because there is a human factor in the game, and it takes the more human factor you take away from the game, the more robotic it gets.
Yeah.
Okay, Tony.
Great game, a 2-1 game. It shows what happens when you have a lot of good athletes on the field. Yeah. You got Aaron Judge throwing out Tatis at third. You got Julio Rodriguez dropping a home run. Like, those are things that stop you from scoring, and that just shows the athletes on the field for both sides. On top of the pitching as well, they did great. Obviously, I do hate that such a great game is being talked about with one pitch. I'm somebody who I'm with you on Warren. I don't really like the idea of like robots or stuff. I like the human element. It's like a plot twist in a movie. Like it's fun to have the Hollywood on there now, but it's like the plot twist, right? Like you think everything is going a certain way, and then you get a bad call. It happens in sports. It's been happening forever. And you don't want to go pitch by pitch. I'm sure it was a lot of pitches that was probably balls that was called strike if you go through inning 1 through 9. But it was a great game. It felt like that was the championship game almost. It's going to be interesting to see how USA can come back from that. And I love how Albert Pujols responded about that pitch, that last pitch, and was very professional about it. It was a great game. We're not going to make it boil down to one bad call or just a call in general by an umpire.
Which is exactly why I decided to bring that visual in about the 4 opportunities they squandered with runners in scoring position. But I agree, and that's why I wanted to set it up that way. Candy, all you need is an opinion here. You don't have to have 9 million facts on this one. The bottom line is the Dominican Republic couldn't get the job done. You want to add a thing or two? Go ahead.
Well, thank you for letting me have my opinion. So
you're welcome.
Let's face it. The manager has gotten a lot of grief about some of his questionable calls. But look, he put Gunnar Henderson in there. And how many people would have thought Gunnar Henderson would be one to hit something out of the ballpark? And as well, Roman Anthony. Now, did he pull Skeens a little too early? We can all question that. But Skeens pitched lights out in the beginning. And so I think, like you said, good pitching beats good hitting.
Well, bottom line is Paul Skeens got to keep in mind they got to monitor his innings too. And Mark DeRosa has a tough time because he has to, deal with the Pirates manager and all those other people. So I get that. Gunnar Henderson, all he did was make a name for himself. Great stuff. All right. The only thing I want to close out the show, it's important to me, is obviously people have been tracking my Alzheimer's disease. I'm doing everything I can to stay as active as I can. I'm only saying this on here because I feel pretty good. I'm not anywhere close to retiring. Thank God I got too many good people around me, and I got 4 or 5 of them I had all night on this show. The reality is last night is that I couldn't finish the drive, and Candy had to take over, and the switch occurred in Bradenton on I-75. Not happy with myself. Retirement is closer than I think it is because when you go out there and misjudge where Culver's is, and that's their favorite restaurant, and I thought there were 2 places in Naples that were not there, but reality is maybe I missed out on a different flavor of the day. Listen, I'm human like anybody else. I'm going to stay at this thing. I'm going to continue to be as active as I can, but I really am a little angry with myself because I should have done a better job. That's a drive I make so many times, being able to go 4 hours, and all I did could only make it 45 or 50 minutes. At least the part I made it, though, was from the Clearwater Stadium to I-75. But that's just one of those things where maybe, am I venting a little bit? Maybe. I'm not looking for sympathy. But don't take Alzheimer's disease lightly, because this is a disease that makes it hard. Yes, I have headaches, migraines, and regular headaches, but to me, it was just one of those things where the combination means that Candy was a great closer last night, and all I was basically was a good opener by today's relief pitching standards. So just want to put that out there. Anybody want to comment, they can, but good job, Candy, for closing it out. You could go out there and say whatever else, and anybody's welcome to incorporate what they want to as well. I'm all right. You see me every week, but I guess I feel like I have a lot more to go with some of the medications that I'm on. Go ahead, Candy. Anybody else want to go ahead and add to this real quickly before we wrap it up?
Good job, Candy.
Yeah.
Shout out to Candy.
Good closing job.
There we go. Play Enter the Sandman.
Right. Glad you got home safely.
Yeah.
Yes. Glad you did it, man.
I normally don't mention these things. I'm sorry if I was a little out of line, but I just want to kind of get it off my chest a little bit. I feel like for a guy that's driven over 4 million miles, it you know how it is. Listen, Warren and Barry, you guys play the game. When you're a competitor, there's no way you can take the competitive part out of you, no matter what you agree.
Right.
There you go. Yep.
Yeah, I felt like that stung a little last night.
The part that I will say is we're a team, and sometimes you shine and sometimes I have to shine. And, we're a team and we do it together. So that's what matters.
There you go.
Well, I won't be saying it next week because I'll tell you why. I got Fort Myers. I could go ahead and get there blindfolded. So I think I can make that trip. Yeah, and I'll have that over the weekend. I'm playing a Fort Myers trip for the last couple of weeks. All right, with that said, great show tonight. I know a little bit longer than normal, but we had some sound bites that were important to get in and a lot of timely stuff. I try to keep the show to about an hour and 5 minutes, and I know we're a little bit longer than normal, but I feel we accomplished an awful lot. And when you have these sound bites and opportunities, all this news, we have to get it out there. But I like to keep my target. All right. With that said, I have such a great crew. Barry, please let everybody how they can get a hold of you.
BC Foot xx@gmail.com, and Monday nights with the Motor City Motor Mouth.
Yeah, see, I think of my man Barry. If he wants me to talk to certain people and get his message out, I took care of you, my man. Mattingly was there for you.
I appreciate it.
It's your segment. I just had to insert what I did on this one. Gotta make sure it was appropriately timed. That's the producing part of the job. All right, Uncle Warren, give it to us.
I can be reached at brewster40@gmail.com and also here on Monday nights.
Yeah, you guys are a great 1-2 punch. I love listening to both your commentary every Monday night. I really look forward to it, and everybody else does as well. You guys are, to me, are a great 1-2 punch, and I'm proud to have both of you. You guys are my version of Babe Ruth and Luke Aaron. That's how much I think of you guys.
Appreciate it.
How about that? Babe Ruth and Luke Aaron made the show because of Barry Foot and Warren Brewster. All right, go ahead. Go ahead, Tony.
It's Hollywood's time.
All social media is going to be Talking Game 1, no GN talking. And YouTube, Tony Talking Game. Make sure y'all check us out. I'm here Mondays and Wednesdays. I do my show Wednesday, 3:30. We're live. Check us out. Oh, and Saturday, wrestling, 2 Raw for SmackDown. Sorry.
Yeah, we're gonna. And by the way, I'm glad you brought that up real quick. On Saturday, it won't be long before Talking Baseball comes back, and Tony's going to be my designated co-host on that show. So I hope you can join Tony and I for Talking Baseball. Right now, Katie and I are trying to do everything we can to get the spring training stuff. And as more and more clips, sound bites come in, you'll see exactly what we've been doing as well. You're ready for a co-host shot, Tony. You've earned it. Okay, so you better get that nickname. Well, we got to find you a nickname for the Saturday show. I get that. So I'll give you something to think about on Wednesday. All right, go ahead, Candy. Good news about Wednesday, Tony, is you're going to get topics in advance for Wednesday. Going forward. All right, go ahead, Candy. Take us the rest of the way.
South Florida Tribune Publishing Company published a book, Lessons from the Microphone, Tuning into the Enduring Wisdom of Visionary Leaders. It is written by our host, Scott, the Motor City Madmouth Morganroth. He talks about his 40-plus years in the business and how it has evolved. There's even a picture of him with a young Tommy Lasorda, so you guys got to get the book, see the stories, look at the pictures. And if you just want to listen to the stories, you can. That's audio versions out there too. But the printed version is available on Amazon, Barnes & Noble, Kindle, Google, and Apple Books. There's also a link on our website, www.southfloridatribune.com, where there is a plethora of great content. So go check it out. If you like to listen to podcasts, you can find us wherever you get your podcasts. If you want to be a guest or want to advertise, you can always email us at southfloridatribune@gmail.com. Last but not least, the YouTube channel. If you see that red subscribe button in the lower right-hand corner, that means you have not yet subscribed to us. What are you waiting for? Just click it, like us, share us, and then turn on your notifications so you're notified every time we go live. One last plug. Tuesday nights, 7:30 p.m. Eastern on the Chicks YouTube channel. 3 Chicks and a Pod or Chicks and Salsa. I'm on there every Tuesday night, 7:30. Check us out before hopping back over to the South Florida Tribune's YouTube channel and checking out football. Back to you, Scott.
All right, well, that does it here for 108 Stitches Baseball Talk. Thanks to Trent Clark for his efforts. More importantly, I want to thank Barry. I want to thank Warren. No, a little bit longer today. I hope you guys are okay with it once in a while, because we definitely do this show. And I have to go ahead and get Barry a shot when it comes to him opening that thing about Mattingly. Come on, Barry. You know I've got something about my bag of tricks every time I think of you guys. I want to thank Barry. I want to thank Warren. I want to thank Tony, Candy, and once again, Trent for being on tonight. So we have a lot of programming lining up this week, and then Candy and I get ready for one more trip around the state. Stay tuned where we're going to go. More interviews on the way. So that does it for us tonight. God bless. Have a good night. Enjoy your baseball. We got plenty more lined up. Take care, everybody, and we appreciate you being involved in the chat room and everywhere else. Have a great night, everybody, and we're talking baseball. 108 Baseball Talk style. Good night, everybody.